Hi guys, so welcome back to another week of chart reviews. I will only review charts which were requested up to 12 AM as of yesterday. Okay, so first one is SCABLE. I think SCABLE is a bit hard to say whether it's going to go ring or not, because as you see, volume has all the while been quiet. But recently the volume has been there lah, okay, and then you see the pullback days are also of low volume and then continue with higher volume. Huge volume coming in after that, so I think it may be here to stay. Currently it's facing some form of resistance at about this zone. Let me just draw it for you. This zone to about here. Okay, for me I think this entire area there's some form of resistance lah. Okay, and the stock needs to overcome it before being able to continue going higher. Okay, so SCABLE I think not bad, can monitor, but you need to make sure that the sellers are no longer there lah. Okay, MN Holdings, I think the candle on Friday is quite bad. If you consider this as a uptrend, then this is clearly a bullish engulfing lah, because it eats the previous day's candle. Other than that, of course, it's still in an uptrend, and here it has actually already tested the 50 days moving average lah. Okay, but this candle is actually not a good candle to have. Okay, I see this news coming out here, but the sell down was quite immense lah. Okay, and high volume, so you just need to be a bit careful. GOCEAN, I think it's still a bit hard to determine whether it's going to go up or down. Has a suddenly high volume coming up here, and then not much of movement after that lah. Okay, even on this high day movement, high day volume, you can see that there's a lot of sellers over here. Okay, stock hasn't really been able to close above this level except for this day lah. Okay, which is yesterday Friday. Other than that, I don't really see much in the stock yet. I think this one is consolidation, so yeah, like that lah. I think you need to give GOCEAN some time lah. Okay, SENDAI, yeah, previously high volume here and then subsequently flat. Okay, if you look at the stock in this manner, you will see there's something like this, and then there's a higher low lah forming over here. Okay, so if you draw a straight line, if you draw like a straight line like this, most likely you will see it's actually rebounding about this level lah for a higher low, and it may be poised to go higher lah. Okay, but you just need to bear in mind the volume that brought it up was this much, and the current volume pushing it up is this much. So there is a fast difference there lah. Okay, you will need to see whether it's gonna end up like previously, like this, dry, and then suddenly a big volume comes in and then pushes it up, or it's really going to go higher lah. Okay, in terms of moving averages, it's not bad lah. Okay, but 50 days is turning down already, which is not a good thing to have. Okay, HIAPTEK, because chart wise I don't think it's that good. It shows like, you know, it's not able to break the resistance over here at 425. Currently supported at 150 days moving average lah, and seems to be supported quite well, and not being able to break above the 50 days moving average is a sad thing to see lah. Okay, in terms of the arrangement of the moving averages, actually is still uptrend lah. Okay, it hasn't reached 200 days moving average as well, and it's all above one another lah. Okay, just that the selling volume on Thursday is a bit scary. I think it started with it actually started attempting to break out from this level here, 425, and then failed, so then dropped down until here lah. Okay, at the moment I see quite a level of support at about 395, and I think the next support of course is at 39 lah. Okay, seems to be quite strong support lah, so we wait and see what happens next week. SASBADI, yes, can see volume coming in and volume slowly climbing higher, so may have something bullish behind it lah. Okay, but this is a barcode counter lah. Okay, so need to be a bit careful, because it's a very penny counter lah. Okay, CHB, using daily chart is a bit hard to do any review, because obviously too little candles. But if we go on a hourly chart, I think it looks quite good lah. One cup over here, then another cup over here, then attempting to go another cup. I think it's quite bullish lah for this one. Okay. This candle is a bit scary. Need to be a bit careful about this zone lah. Okay. Every time you have, attempt to break out from this zone, then it's coupled with another big red candle the next day. So need to be a bit careful. On Friday also the volume was half of it is actually from selling lah. Okay, you can see there are 3 wicks here, 1, 2, and then this one also another one. So I think there's quite a lot of sellers over here lah. Okay, technically on an hourly chart looks not bad, but I think need to be a bit cautious lah. Okay, DANCO. Actually, this is a very nice cup pattern, very textbook actually. So you have a cup like this, and then of course here you will start with the highest volume because there's a breakout over here, and then followed by some sell down. So when the sell down occurs over here, you can see the volume is slowly trimming down, and then this is actually the base of the stock. So you can see it's quite flat over here. Then this candle over here is actually to wash out people who use the auto stop loss lah. Okay, so when it comes over here, there's a washout and it closes above, and now as it climbs higher, the volume is starting to come in again. So it's technically a very nice textbook cup pattern lah. Okay, if it's able to break out from 0.46, then very likely you will see if it's a 1-to-1 ratio, then it will be somewhere about here lah. Okay, if it's a 1-to-1 ratio lah. Okay. Okay, next is fast. I don't really think there's much to comment. I will skip this, but I will just give my comments as well lah. You see a very high candle over here, but you see it can't even close high. Okay, it opened gapped up about here 0.15, it ran up to 215, and it closed lower than half of the candle, which means there's actually more sellers than buyers lah, where the sellers only came later part of the day. So I think it's something you need to be cautious of lah. Okay, BENALEC. Okay, you think of it in this way lah. For this counter, you have a 58.839 million volume coming here, which brought your candle from 0.1 up to 0.150, and then came back down to 145. Okay, with the same amount of volume of 57.27 million, you only moved from 0.145 to 165, and you from 0.15 to 165, and you close at 145. So do you think there's a lot of buyers, or you think there's a lot of sellers over here? Okay, if you can answer this logic, I think you will understand where this is going to lah. Okay, next is AEMULUS. Okay, AEMULUS looks not bad now. I think the previous time I looked at it is like, kind of dead, but I think it's now slowly climbing up alongside with all the other tech stocks lah. Okay, quite high volume over here. I think it has built quite a base over here before attempting to break out lah. So there may be some trend to it. Can continue to monitor and see whether the trend actually continues or not lah. But this candle is actually very bullish lah. The volume is very strong. Okay, so I don't know whether the person who asked me fast BENALEC is the same one as AEMULUS or not, but you just look at the candle size difference. Okay, so for 10 million, they give you a candle of about here 235 to about 270. That means it's about 35 cents. Is it 35? No, 0.035 cents lah. Okay, and then a higher volume of about 11 million, it went from 27 to 305. It's about similar lah. Okay, but there were more sellers. Okay, so when you see there's more sellers, then you see some sell down over here. Okay, then followed by about 13 million, which moved it from about 28 to 31. That means about 3 cents lah. Okay, also logic lah. Okay, and then over here you have a 15 million which moved the stock from about 3.1 to 3.35, and then came back down. So it's about 2 to 2.5 cents lah. Okay, which for me is quite near. But if you compare with fast and BENALEC, I think the difference is too fast lah. Okay, so something you need to be cautious of. So for AEMULUS, I think it looks not bad lah. The trend looks quite bullish. It seems like it has already reversed. ASDION, okay, the volume is coming in. I don't know for what reason. I think the quarter report didn't change anything for the chart. High volume selling over here, then finally penetrated above with this high volume over here. Then next day is about penetrating half of the candle lah. So I think need to be a bit careful to see whether this is a legit move or not lah. Okay, I would like to skip this lah. Wouldn't like to comment much. CYBERE, I don't really want to comment. But volume seems to be coming in and the chart looks not bad lah. Okay, we will need to see where it moves. Okay, the pullback candles are coupled with quite low volume, so that is something good to have lah. Okay, for CYBERE, I think there is some news lah behind it stimulating the move. Okay, so cannot comment much lah. Okay, until there's a more better chart coming up. This one I cannot comment anything because it's literally run up just like this, and there are gaps, huge wicks, so nothing to comment now. You just need to wait and see what happens. Okay, there's for me, I don't think there is a base to support or there's any resistance, because it has, forever been just like this, and all of a sudden it jumps, so skip lah. CORAZA, okay, many times CORAZA has attempted to base, but seems to have failed lah. Okay, so I think you need to be wary of that. Need to see whether this is a real base or not lah. I think you'll give the stock some time, will be better lah. Okay, if you really pull this down, it still haven't broken out from the downtrend line. Okay, SENDAI, I think there's nothing to see. It's literally flat and it's already at its all-time low. Okay, so I skip last SENDAI. TAKAFUL, I think, is doing quite well. Okay, it has been able to take over this long wick over here, but I think there should be some form of a pullback soon lah. Okay, it's an uptrend counter at the moment. You see, it's like it's actually very nice lah. If you look at it, it's something just like this, like this. Okay, so I think it looks quite good lah. Okay, for TAKAFUL. Next is OCK. I think OCK is the counter which does quite well in their quarter report. Okay, every time also the revenue is quite good, income is also increasing and stuff like that. But I have no idea why the stock doesn't break out and continue going higher lah. Okay, so yeah, that's about OCK. I think this base over here before the breakout was quite solid, coupled with quite low volume over here, and then suddenly a high volume comes in and pushes it higher. So can continue to monitor and see how OCK is. Okay. Okay, next is INARI, tech giant. I think most of the time related to Broadcom, 5G and those area lah. Okay. Okay, so this is a high volume candle. It may be the start of a bullish trend, I'm not sure. Okay, volume here has been quite quiet. Okay, albeit a bit erratic lah, a bit volatile. But it has been quite stable lah. Okay, it hasn't really broken down from the previous box. I think this one over here is just a washout candle lah. Okay, to wash before attempting to go higher. So generally, I think INARI looks good, but it's still in a sideways trend lah. It hasn't broken out or confirmed another trend or confirm a trend change lah. Okay. MRCB, construction property counters were doing very well last week. I think it's going to be a bit difficult for you to pinpoint which is a good counter and which isn't a good counter. I think most of them just rallied together lah. Okay, so MRCB, I think the base is about here. I think this is the base lah. Okay, and it managed to break out. So this is the support lah. That's for sure. Okay. It may be attempting to challenge the previous high. I don't know, but speaking of this, you need to remember that years where our economy do well is usually years where there's a lot of projects and constructions given. Okay, that's the only way for you to spur the economy lah. Okay, if you don't spur the economy using construction and all these kind of things, it's a bit hard for you to spur the economy lah. Okay, so yeah, that's MRCB. BPURI Holdings, if not because of the barcode candles, I think it looks quite good lah. Okay, the volume looks not bad. But this one, the volume is a bit scary lah. Okay, because the candle comparison between this and this is a bit high. It's a bit I think there's some anomaly here lah. Okay, you just need to monitor and see lah. Okay, but it has already tested the 50 days moving average and managed to rebound lah. So I think that's a good sign to have. Okay. SKBSHUT I will review. I have it inside my case studies list. For the person who requested SKBSHUT, you go and watch the case studies list lah. Okay. BAHVEST was actually in quite a bad run last time. Okay, it always goes down, and then I think since the owner was caught or something like that, and new people took over, I think it has been doing quite well. Okay, yeah, even the margin is getting better. Last time the margin is always bad one. Okay, margin is getting better, so I think the counter generally looks quite good. There is a strong support at 4.4, quite obvious this one, and it's now trading within this sideways range lah. Okay, if it's able to break out from the sideways range, then of course you will see continue going higher. Okay, yeah, gold prices are also I think on the rise, but I'm not so sure. I didn't check the chart. Okay, so yes, BAHVEST generally looks quite good lah. Okay, but it is currently in a sideways trend, so you need some patience. SAMCHEM, I think reason from the date lah. Okay, previously it was like, you know, really not favorable. You know, it was forming lower lows all along the way, and after this quarter report came out, it actually stabilized lah. Okay, I think it's doing pretty well over here. Okay, so SAMCHEM, yeah, it's currently at the resistance level. You can see the volume has also started coming in. Okay, resistance level is pretty good. I mean, it's already challenging it for the second time lah. Okay, and then got seller again. So I think you give some time lah. SAMCHEM looks to have already turned the trend around. Okay, there's already a trend reversal. ASDION, I don't think so. I think it's quite flat, and you need to be a bit cautious with counters with such volume. Okay, an example is INFOTEK. Okay, you can see this counter. That's the volume. Look at the volume. Look very nice here. Okay, looks very good lah. This volume, like no sellers, then a lot of buyers. No sellers, a lot of buyers. Okay. Yes, it did break out, but watch what happened after that lah. Okay, so it looks quite similar to ASDION now lah. So my advice is just be a bit careful lah. I mean, I don't know what will happen. Okay, SCGM, I don't think there's much to see in SCGM because I think they sold the business or something like that. Yeah, I don't think they are earning much. I don't know what's happening in SCGM, but I don't follow the stock anymore. But I remember something about them selling their business or something like that lah. Okay, so no, I will skip SCGM. Okay, MSM sugar counter, I think is doing good lah. This counter is really doing good, albeit the strong washout and everything. I think it's still doing good, even though the counter freaking loses money every quarter. Okay, so I think it's still doing good. It's continuing to go higher and higher, but a bit difficult because I think there's no solid base form for this counter before it actually shows a breakout. Okay, so it's like the counter doesn't tell you lah that it's forming a base, okay, before it actually breaks out. Yeah. Next, Persona. I think there's nothing to review in this counter. There's no volume coming in. The chart is not uptrend. Okay, so I'll just skip this. OCR. Maybe can request again for this counter to be reviewed next week if I have a review session lah. Okay. The only one day volume, you can't determine whether there's a trend change or not, because it's all the while downtrend or sideways only. Okay, nothing much. Red tone, red tone seems to be climbing back higher. Okay, after the super washout over here after the quarter report, I think many shook lah. Okay, with this so high volume selling, something like HIAPTEK lah, but HIAPTEK didn't have a quarter report to do it. Just came like that lah. Okay, so I think it will close the gap here and then maybe form a pullback to see whether it's really going to continue higher or not lah. Okay, other than that, I don't think there's much to see. I think you need some patience for the counter. PTRB, okay, PTRB's volume is going to something similar to INFOTEK again. Okay, let me just highlight INFOTEK for you. INFOTEK. Okay, something like this again lah. Okay, I don't like counters which have weird counters like this, weird volume like this. Okay, so PPRB seems to be showing something similar, not so bad lah, the non-volume based. Okay, you need to be a bit cautious to see whether it's another, you know, something similar to Infotech or not. Okay, so for PPRB you need to be cautious lah. Okay, KKB, wow, I will skip this counter lah, I got nothing much to comment. The volume comes like what, every 5 months once? Yeah, about there lah. If you can pick the exact date, then of course you will quad lah. But other than that, I don't think there's anything. It's a very barcode counter. Sensoft. Okay. Sensoft, you need to break out from this level lah. Okay, it's 265. Of course, it's a bit stupid to say that if you don't break out, then you won't continue going higher. It's like, who doesn't know this? But if you look at Sensoft here, high volume, right? Then that's followed by low volume, and then a high volume comes. So this is a technical cup pattern, okay, where the volume shrinks at the base and starts climbing back higher when it's about to break out. So if it's not able to break out from here, the pattern also fails, and you won't see anything in Sensoft lah. Okay, so yeah, you just need to wait lah. EcoVest has some China SICO form strategic collaboration. Something about them being able to earn some billions or whatever amount of money lah, I'm not sure. So generally, future prospect looks pretty good for EcoVest lah. Okay, there's already some form of selling over here. I think maybe sell on news lah. Okay, because once the news come out, most likely people will already know. So some form of selling is already here, and then high volume over here lah. So you know that mostly came from selling. You need to be a bit cautious with EcoVest to see whether the trend is still able to continue or not. Okay, most likely if you have such high volume for continuous days, it's right for a pullback lah. Okay. Data prep, no, I don't think there's anything to comment on this chart. I think it's still no, I don't think it's right for a trend reversal yet, so I'll skip. Auto count, auto count has been sideways for quite long lah. Yeah, you have to break out from this level lah, that's for sure. It's already tested this level like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times lah. Okay, then this is the 6th time, and it also failed lah to close above. Of course, I hope you will close above lah, then you can continue going higher. But of course, the volume this time looks a bit more encouraging. This is high volume, then followed by another higher volume lah. Okay, so hopefully this time around is able to break out lah. I have nothing to comment on INTEX because I think the run up has been a bit too high, and yeah, it's about 11 cents. And I don't think there's anything for me to review as well because yeah, obviously it's already run up. There is no resistance nearby, there's no support nearby. I'm not going to use this because this is a 2021 level, so yeah, nothing much to review for INTEX. Just have to wait and see lah. Volcano, I never really felt Volcano's chart was nice. I think a few people asked me to review, but I don't think it's doing that good lah. Okay, so of course it already went up, then you consolidate like this, and then you keep hitting on the bottom door. It looks you're more prone to go down than up lah. Okay, so for Volcano, I think it's a new low. I think you need to give time for it to find a base lah. Okay, this one I got no comment. I can't comment on counters which volume just come in one day, unless I am a shareholder in a company, or I'm some top director lah, where I know there's some news coming in. Otherwise, if you have one day volume, you can't decide lah whether it's going to be something good or not. Okay, CAREPLS, I think is in tandem with glove counters lah. Okay, it's doing not bad lah, quite good. But personally, I think the glove giants will do better than the second liners lah. Okay, because after COVID, you know, the excess supplies and everything, if you don't really have the rolling capital, then obviously you can't really survive lah. Okay, and I think the top 4 has a better rolling capital compared to the rest. Okay, EPICON, I think the sell down is a bit scary. I don't know whether it's done or not. Okay, but seems to be supported here lah, 0.39. Okay, may be attempting to rally again, but seems to have some form of selling over here lah. Okay, I will assume it will pull back lah. Okay, let's see what happens if I drive a draw of Fibo. Fibo says about here. Okay, so I think Fibo looks quite accurate over here. Let me just see if I pull down lower. Nah, I think just now that one is okay. Yeah, I think just now that one is okay. I think this one is more accurate lah. Okay, it's either, it should be about here lah if it pulls back. Okay, but I don't really follow Fibo lah. For me, Fibo is just a general guide. Okay, because the recent candle still has quite a wick on top, I think it's quite right for pullback lah. Okay, so top glove, like I said, I think the top 4 are better than the second liners, and I think same applies here lah. Okay, so top glove, there is some form of resistance over here, but the stock has kind of rallied quite well. Okay, so we'll wait to see whether it continues higher or not. But I think among all Harta and Kosan's chart are better lah. Okay, HPPHB I don't think is looking good at all. You can see there's not much volume anymore here. Okay, and then there's a huge volume coming up, then next day it's recandled again. So I will give it some time lah to see where it decides to go. Okay, so I will skip Pelikan. I will definitely skip Pelikan. Yeah, there's nothing for me to comment. RAMSSOL, I think it has formed a base, and finally it's coming out from the base after don't know how long. It has been downtrending very long lah. Okay, finally a high volume came in, and then I see that the next day is a red candle already lah. Okay, so that's a bit funny. It's like operator don't want to continue pushing it higher lah. Okay, so I think you need to give some time to see whether, usually stocks tend to test the high of their base. So I will assume 39 is the high of the base lah. Okay, so that's where it should test, and it should be able to hold there lah. Okay, if it doesn't, then of course it won't look good anymore lah. Okay, so RAMSSOL, I think you need to give some time. MCEHLDG, I think okay. MCEHLDG. I think there's a stock split soon lah. Wait for the stock split first lah. Usually stock splits don't end up well after splitting. Okay, but generally of course it's still moving uptrend lah. Okay, and like I mentioned in the previous reviews, I don't like counters where there's no volume for 2 days, then one high volume, then no volume, high volume. I don't like it lah. Okay, next is EMCC. So EMCC, you can see there is one cup like this. Okay, and then it reaches here. I assume it will form a cup and handle lah. Yeah, but if it doesn't, if it forms a cup and handle, it's going to be quite strong. So it will become something like this. Okay, try three pattern lah. Okay, and then this is like going higher. Okay, so EMCC I think still need to give some time. Still quite new lah, actually, from September only. Okay, but the volume is starting to come in lah. So you can see this one trying to break the resistance but failed. Okay, so EMCC gives some time. And lastly, SKPRES. I don't think SKPRES looks good lah. It's still forming. It's still quite low after forming a new low, and the selling volume is still quite high. So I don't think it looks good lah for now. I think you need to wait until it finds a bottom, and then it shows some form of trend reversal. Okay. So I think that will be all for this week's chart reviews. Like I mentioned before, I will open chart review sessions from time to time whenever I'm free lah. Okay, whenever I'm not, I may not be able to even do a watch list, and if I'm partially free, I will just do a watch list and share lah. Sorry, I mean case study. Okay, so with that, that'll be all for the week. And of course, a disclaimer: this entire video is just for educational purpose only, and should not be considered as a buy or sell call lah. Okay, if you require a buy or sell call, please look for your licensed remisier or your licensed financial advisor. Okay, so with that, I end the session, and all the best for next week. Thank you. Bye bye.
If you liked this video, Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more videos.